with 2 weeks to go, fresh polls show Rishi Sunak could become the first sitting PM to ever lose his seat in the UK general election. The Tories are now even looking down under in a bid to shore up marginal seats. Recent law changes mean the British expats who've lived in Australia more than 15 years can now vote.
Jemma Forte is a British broadcaster and political commentator and is here to help us make sense of it, we hope. Jemma, why would you want someone who hasn't lived in the UK for more than a decade and a half to vote in the election?
Well, I don't think you would really, but this is what the Conservatives are up to. They're changing boundary lines for the constituencies. They're doing anything they can in a desperate bid to garner votes. I'm not sure it will be that successful. I don't know how many people have registered with you guys over there, but I mean, I think it's in the tens of thousands. And yes, they might lean towards voting Conservative. I don't know why. I don't know based on what. Perhaps just because they've been given the right to vote in the election again. But as for our continental friends, I can't see them, due to Brexit, voting Conservative. So
this election's looked pretty wild from over here. What's the craziest moment you've seen?
Well, Rishi Sunak, our dear Prime Minister, has just made a series of horrific gaffes. He's known for being incredibly out of touch with ordinary people, full stop. It's kind of his manner, but he's also richer than the King of England. So he's managed to really seal that message by just doing some awful things. We had the D-Day celebrations, one of the most important days in the calendar. And Rishi Sunak decided to sort of cut that short, get back over to the UK to do an interview that he'd requested the time slot to try and promote the fact that he hadn't been lying on another show. I mean, it was so misjudged. People were furious.
Jemma, reports today, and this is quite astounding, that every frontbench MP bar one is going to lose their seat. Now, I'm not a political expert, but I think that's pretty bad. What's going on?
It's not bad, it's wonderful.
Oh.
I'm not actually affiliated to Labour either. I'm actually supporting sort of tactical voting. I would prefer to have a different voting system, to have proportional representation and so on. But the Tory party have been a stain. The last 10 years have been appalling. We've suffered like austerity. Brexit has been an absolute disaster. We've had a lot of sort of giving contracts to pals, cronies during COVID, corruption, so I see this list and I just think, yeah, go. I hope they all go. In fact, those are the bits I'm waiting up for on election night. I'm going to be that one who's pie-eyed 3 a.m. going, come on. So, yeah.
One of the curiosities of this particular election, though, is Mr Brexit, Nigel Farage, who has run 7 times before and never got into the House of Commons. But with the Tories in such a terrible state, could this actually be his chance to finally win one?
I think it might be, yeah. And what's happened is our Tory party have spent their whole life pandering to Nigel Farage, who is the most powerful person in politics, who's never been elected. And he's been this disruptor from the sidelines. But he speaks to people. There are many, many people in this country listening to him. And his so-called manifesto is like candy. So he'll just say, we'll do this, we're going to do this, we're going to give you this, we're going to... But with no substance behind it. Like, you could pick it to pieces. So I think in the seat that he's parachuted into, it's a sort of 3-horse race, but it's really close, but he is in the lead, and I think he's going to do it and just be a thorn in the side of British politics for many more years to come.
Hey, Jemma, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.